it out though, as that's Red 1 just bringing the aircraft round. Now, the formation you see out there is what we call amateur big battle. The big V shape is battle formation, and it's called amateur because Reds 6 and 7 are not in their normal positions. They're sitting one position closer to Red 1 than where they'd normally be. Anytime a pilot's not in his normal position in formation, then we call that an amateur formation. It doesn't mean we're not professionals. We are a professional display team, so you don't have to worry about that. And as they run in towards us now, then we get ready to start the show with the 2010 Red Arrows. Ladies and gentlemen, here they are. So the red, red, blue smoke comes on as they start a left-hand bend. Ladies and gentlemen, Portrush, the 2010 Reds. That's the voice of Red 1, Squadron Leader Ben Murphy. We call him Baz, and he's in the aircraft at the very front of the formation there. This year's leader, and it's the first year that he's led the team. He was actually Red 6 last year and his third year on the team, so this makes his fourth year on the team this year. Now, Baz is a former Harrier pilot, having served on 1, 4 and 20 squadrons. And like all of the Royal Air Force's Harrier pilots, he's seen several operational tours out in Afghanistan, where the job of the pilot there is to provide close air support to the young men and women of the British forces and our coalition allies on the ground, working in some very difficult conditions. Now, I can tell you that Baz is a keen kite surfer and a keen runner, and he's also got the team's most fancy dress costume. It's a rather fetching Barbie outfit, and we've had to see him wear this outfit 3 times already this year, and believe me, it's enough to make a grown man cry. Okay, the team have now formed at 9-arrow formation, 9 red arrows making up one big red arrow as they squeeze past us now at about 3G, 400 miles an hour in 9-arrow. Watch now as the smoke goes off, and the Reds 8 and 9 barrel roll round to the back of the formation. I just lost them behind the ridge there. They are now sitting in what we call Fred formation. Sounds silly, Fred, but it's short for feathered arrow. That's the change to cranked arrow formation. Reds 8 and 9 have got their smoke on as they slide up to crank forward the wingtips of this arrow shape. Now the lowest man is, and the reason I mention him in this formation, because out there on the left wingtip, the highest man, as we look at them now, he's got a real job on his hands to maintain position. He'll be using quite a bit of rudder to hold formation here, and as the team rolls, it's a difficult job to maintain that formation position. As they tighten up this bend now, the aircraft are just 6 to 8 feet apart in this formation, or if you speak metric, then that's 2 to 3 meters.
9.
Now Kermit is a very skilled man. Not only is he a brilliant pilot, as you can see, but he also has the unenviable skill of being able to touch type at 60 words a minute, something he learned in New Zealand. Wow. And we don't banter him about that on the team one bit. Okay, the team have now formed Delta formation. You can see the shape of that Delta as they turn in towards us here. It's a difficult formation here because the 3 lines that make up the Delta are straight lines, and they're very unforgiving to the pilots. The smallest error in position by each of the pilots is visible to us here on the ground. So they'll all be working particularly hard to maintain that formation. As they do so, the white smoke comes on, and very clearly now you can see the shape of Delta formation. Stanford High School, and it was her father who inspired her to become a pilot in the Air Force, because he used to fly the Tornado GR1 and served in Gulf War I actually. Kirsty's in her first year on the team this year as a former Tornado GR4 pilot herself, and also served as a flying instructor at RAF Valley in North Wales, which is where we teach our new fast jet pilots how to fly jets. Making T-shape, 2 straight lines, and again, very difficult for the pilots to maintain. So that's why Red 2, who sits just to the right of the leader, or just above him there, he's in the leaders at the front in the middle. Red 2, Flight Lieutenant Benjamin Plank is just above him. Now, Planky's the youngest pilot on the team, at age 31, but strangely also the baldest pilot on the team, who's on the outside of him. Planky also has the most embarrassing car on the team, which is a turquoise Mazda MX-5. Now, he claims it's his wife's car, but we just don't believe him because he seems to pitch up to work in it every day anyway. There's no accounting for taste. Very good. good looking at all, and as Zane's the only single man of the team, I was ruining his summer. I see a few people looking at me in the commentary box here with smiles on their faces, so I don't make that joke anymore about it. So what I can tell you though is he's a very skillful pilot, making an easy job of Blackbird, a former Harrier pilot served on one squadron, 4 operational tours in Afghanistan, and also a former flying instructor on the Hawkadari Valley. Born in Hong Kong, incidentally. To the few, this is the Spitfire Bend.
Yes, look at that.
Directly behind him in line of stone, that's Reds 6 and 7. Reds 6 and 7 make up the synchro pair. And I'm in danger here of promising something that we may not be able to do, but the synchro pair are the 2 aircraft that undergo all of these spectacular crossing manoeuvres in the second half of the show. Red 6 this year is Pablo O'Grady, a former Typhoon pilot, and Red 7 at the back of that